Here at Upward, the only way is up. The only way is up. And you arrive by going down. You walk inside, cracked walls, plants forcing themselves through the floors, the kind of decay that takes decades. You find a greenhouse garden with ironwork, a neon diner sign out the window, cherry blossom trees visible, and in the middle of it all, a stone mascot, statue of a cute dog. You look away. You look back. The dog statue is gone. In its place, a massive coiled stone serpent. Same stone, same position. It does not change back. And then you look down, and you're holding a small purple plush toy. Alive, wanting to be carried. You know this toy. You have always known this toy. Do you remember? Hey everyone! SavageEmoji here. I have spent a long time going through every frame of the Dark Pals series, every entry in the dossier database, every line of the episode scripts, and the demo game. And what I found is a theory I genuinely think holds up. Today we are covering all of it. What Upward really is, what happened to Luke Marshall, what the Fortune Dweller actually wants, and what the Archivist really is. Let's go. Before the theory, the groundwork, because in Dark Pals the details matter more than almost anything else. DARK stands for Division for Anomalous Retrieval and Knowledge. I want you to hold on to that specific word, retrieval. We will come back to it, because I think it tells us exactly what this organisation was originally built to do. And it's not what you think. Dark Pals runs a dossier database called the Dark Research Division. Every supernatural entity they have encountered is logged, classified and filed. Tier and category. Tier 1 through at least Tier 4? Categories we've seen so far contain Chaos Glass, Deceiver and Spawner. But here is something very important. The database has two sections. Entity dossiers, the monsters, and character dossiers, the people involved. Both matter enormously for this theory, especially the character dossiers. Our two agents, Walter Vex, 35 years old, veteran operative, and the last surviving member of Dark. Every colleague he has ever had is dead. He is completely alone. And Winston Gravedigger, a newly recruited engineer who enters Sweet Lake Forest for one reason, and one reason only. His best friend Luke Marshall has disappeared, and Winston is going to find him. That loyalty, just a person trying to find their friend, is where everything starts. Luke Marshall, civilian. His dossier is fully redacted. His report redacted. His role civilian, that is all Dark Pals will tell us. From the show we know one thing. A young man with a camcorder, running through Sweet Lake Forest trying to escape something, and failing. He hides behind a tree and the Fortune Dweller speaks. And here's the first detail I need you to notice. The Fortune Dweller says, "I know your name, I know what you want, I know what you are doing, I know everything." This is not a creature that stumbled across Luke by accident. It was waiting for him, specifically. It knew he was coming before he arrived. That's not predator instinct, that is intelligence. Someone or something told it Luke was coming. Now, I need to describe the Fortune Dweller properly, because it is central to everything. The Fortune Dweller is the tent. Not a creature inside a tent. The tent is its body. It walks on legs. Think Baba Yaga's house. Slow, deliberate stomping. Arms reach out from within it like real limbs. Its curtains open. Its eyes glow yellow from inside when it's active and open. When it grabbed Luke, an arm shot out from the curtains and dragged him physically inside. And from within its body, its void, it spawns bite sizes. The curtains open and they shoot out. It does not command them from a distance. They form inside it. And Luke is now inside that same void. When the Fortune Dweller later uses Luke's face and voice to manipulate Winston, it says this. Not really, Winston, and you know why. We are hungry. We, not I. Luke is not dead. He has been absorbed. His face, his voice, his memories, all weaponized inside the Fortune Dweller's void. Deployed against the people who loved him. And the imitation is slightly off. Just wrong enough to make your skin crawl, just close enough to be devastating for Winston. The Fortune Dweller's dossier confirms this is exactly how it operates. Its eyes of remorse physically manifest as the eyes of deceased or betrayed loved ones. It projects belonging and forgiveness from within the void. Direct eye contact with its interior for more than 20 seconds causes hallucinations and a compulsive desire to enter. Luke is now one of those projections, a weapon made out of a person. There is one more line most people miss entirely. When Walter confronts the Fortune Dweller, it says, "We will show you the power of the gods." Not God, gods plural. There is not one entity at the top of this hierarchy. The Fortune Dweller, a tier 4 spawner that walks like a house and births monsters from its own body, is just one of them. So what is above it? That answer is in Upward. The Steam page for the Dark Pals game says it plainly. In this single-player mascot horror game, you're trapped in an abandoned children's asylum. Not a school, not a facility, an asylum. A place where children were sent, a place they did not choose. And here is what makes Upward so specifically disturbing. It does not look like an asylum. It looks like somewhere a child will love. There's a greenhouse garden with a decorative fencing, cherry blossom trees outside the windows, a neon diner sign glowing in the dark, mascot statues, screens on the walls, and a welcome video that plays automatically when you enter with a ticket. Because here at Upward, the only way is up. Warm, cheerful, optimistic. Every single design choice here is deliberate. This place was built to make children feel safe, excited, and trusting. The aesthetic is not decoration, it's a strategy. It is how you get a child to walk willingly into a brainwashing machine. Because that is what is inside. There's a poster in the game. It is titled Brainwashing Instructions. Step 1, insert full film reel. Step 2, insert empty film reel. Step 3, restrain kids. Step 4, press play. Step 5, observe. And there is an actual brainwashing video you activate as a puzzle in the demo. It plays on a screen. It tells the children they have no choice except to consume. And it repeats words. Submit, conform, consume, perform. When you play the tape in the game, there is a flash of light, and the room is physically destroyed. Whatever this machine was doing to children in 1985, and there is a date reference in game, January 5th, 1985, it was powerful enough to obliterate the space it operated in. The asylum dressed itself like this to earn the children's trust. This was the point. Here is the detail that reframes the entire game. The Steam page says, uncover secrets you had long forgotten about. Do you remember? That is not a tagline. It is not flavor text. It is addressed directly to the player character. You have been here before. You have forgotten something. You are not a stranger investigating an abandoned building. You are a former patient returning to the place that changed you. And then there is Inky. Inky is a small purple plush toy that is with you from the absolute first moment of the game. It is alive, it makes sounds, and when you are near it, holds its arms up to be carried. The way a child reaches up to someone they trust completely. Someone they have been waiting a very long time to see again. Inky is not something you just find in the asylum. It belongs to the player character. It is their toy from when they were small. From when they were a patient here. Think about what that means. This building has been abandoned for approximately 40 years. If it's set in 2025. The walls are cracked. Plants are growing through the floors. Everything is decayed and broken. The diner has not served a meal since 1985. The welcome video plays to nobody. And Inky is still here. Still alive. Still in the same place waiting for one specific person to walk back through those doors. Inky also has a practical function. It shoots ink to solve puzzles. You can change the colour of the ink. Colours are very important in this universe. We'll get to that shortly. Inky is not just a companion. Inky may be carrying a piece of who the player used to be. The one part of them that Upward could not reach. The player character was a child at Upward. The program took something from them, and now, decades later, something has drawn them back. It's time for us to remember. The Steam page officially describes Chompy, Chasey, and Binky Drinky as the mascots of Upward. And it mentions Inky as the toy paint-a-gun. 3 people, 3 faces of the asylum. Each one different, each one telling us something. We've covered Inky, the player's childhood toy, the part of them that survived. Chompy Chasey, a round dog toy with big eyes. And I want you to note their blue colour. We'll come back to that colour. In the game, Chompy chases you through the facility. If it captures you, it eats you. A children's mascot that hunts. A comfort object that consumes. The brainwashing slogan says, submit, conform, consume, perform. Chompy performs consume. Its dossier is fully redacted. And there is Binky Drinky. I need to spend real time on this one. Binky Drinky is the face of the entire Dark Pels game on Steam. Front and centre, the mascot of the horror. The image the creators chose to represent the whole game to the world. And its dossier, fully redacted. No tier, no category, no report. Absolutely nothing on record. In the game, you don't really interact with Binky. In my playthrough, I didn't see them, but apparently it watches you. From multiple rooms throughout the asylum, it sways gently, childlike, from the trailers. It never attacks, never speaks, never reacts. It just watches. Tracks your movement from room to room without even appearing to move between them. Why is the most prominent entity in the entire game's marketing the one with 0 documentation on the website? The face of this story is a complete mystery that Dark Pels apparently cannot or will not explain. My theory is that Binky is not watching passively. Binky knows who the player character is. Binky recognises them as a former patient. And whatever Binky is reporting back to, that's what the full game is building towards. Here is something I have not seen documented anywhere. In the game, visible through the greenhouse window, is the Fortune Dweller's tent. Completely still, no legs visible, just sitting there in the fog. With the chaos swirl turning in the sky directly above it. You cannot reach it in the demo. Through the window only. But it is there, right outside, in the grounds of Upward. Now, why? The easy answer is that the Fortune Dweller is guarding Upward. That it has always lived there. But I do not think that is right. Because look at how the Fortune Dweller actually behaves throughout the show. It hunts specific people. It knew Luke's name before it ever met him. It knows everything about Winston's relationship with Luke. It targets personal trauma with surgical precision. This is not a guard. This is a hunter, and hunters follow prey. My theory is that the Fortune Dweller is following the player character, the former patient who has returned to Upward. The tent is in that courtyard because the player is inside that building. It has tracked them here. It has been tracking them for a long time. Possibly their entire life. The way it tracked Walter through into Wheat Lake Forest. And it knew Luke. Because Luke was connected to the player's character's return. Luke came upward to investigate. Possibly on the player's behalf, possibly because they asked them to. Hence the camcorder documenting what he found. And the fortune dweller, following the trail back to the player, found Luke first. The tent in the courtyard is not the fortune dweller at home. It is the fortune dweller waiting outside, waiting for the player to come back out. Now, I want to show you something that nobody has talked about at all, anywhere. In the garden area of Upwood, there is a decorative stone statue of Chompy. It's exactly the kind of mascot a children's asylum would put in its grounds to make children feel welcome, safe, happy to be there. Turn away from it. Turn back. The Chompy statue is gone. In its place, a coiled stone serpent with a really square head. Now, later in the game you see these box dragons. So it could just be that, but we're going to talk about the theme of it being a snake body. It's a completely different form. This entity has no dossier entry, no tier, no category. It is completely absent from the Dark Pearls database, despite physically existing inside one of their primary investigation sites. I think this single image is the game telling you everything you need to know, without a single word of dialogue. Everything at Upward that presents as friendly has a true form underneath it. The cute dog mascot with the snake beneath. The asylum dressed as a caring place with the brainwashing machine beneath. The warm fortune dweller's tent with the void that consumes you within. The living plush toy that reaches up to be carried with 40 years of waiting and whatever that has done to it beneath. Chompy into serpent, that is Upward. An undocumented entity hiding inside a children's mascot statue raises a question the theory cannot ignore. Is the database incomplete because Dark Pearls does not know, or because someone is making sure certain things never get written down? Dark Pearls has a deliberate colour language running through everything, consistent across the show, the dossier database, and the game itself. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Yellow. The fortune dweller's eyes glow yellow when it is active and hunted. The bite-sizers have yellow eyes. The dossier confirms the bite-sizer's skin mirrors the weathered canvas of the fortune dweller's body. And they both have yellow eyes. They are visually coded as the same category of being. Controlled, marked, serving the same master. Blue. When bite-sizers die, soul orbs emerge from them. A mix of white and blue. When Winston reaches out to touch one in episode 2, his eyes begin glowing the same blue. Walter immediately shoves them away. With practice-specific alarm. He has seen this before, he knows exactly what it means, and he will not explain it. These are not corruption orbs, they are soul orbs. The last fragments of whoever these entities were before the brainwashing took everything from them. Blue is the colour of the original self, the child that existed before the machine. And Inky shoots blue ink, and at times yellow. The player character's childhood toy, the one part of them that survived Upward, fires blue because it is carrying something the machine cannot reach, yet also is controlled. Then there is the Chaos Swirl. Purple, its own distinct colour. Not quite the same as the Fortune Dweller's tent, not the same as the bite-sized skin. Something operating above and beyond the Fortune Dweller entirely. Something higher in the hierarchy. Yellow controlled, blue original, Purple, the power above everything. Walter Vex grew up in Sweet Lake Forest as a child. He witnessed the monsters firsthand. He was told for years it never happened, gaslit systematically, by the same people who should have protected him. And in a darkened hallway in episode 2, his eyes appear to glow blue. The same blue as the soul orbs, the same blue as Winston's eyes when he nearly touches one. What if Walter's connection to the soul orbs is not accidental? What if that blue glow is not corruption? What if it is recognition? Look at the entities that inhabit Upward in the game. Chompy Chasey, a round dog toy. Binky Drinky, a gentle swaying creature with childlike curiosity and a pacifier for its head. Inky, a living plush toy that wants to be held. These are the mascots of the Children's Asylum. Comfort objects. Things specifically designed to make children feel safe. My theory is that they are not just mascots. They are children. The children of Upward. When the brainwashing machine processed them, something broke. Something that was meant to make them compliant instead hollowed them out. Left empty vessels filled with chaos, hunger, and instinct. They became the entities. The soul orbs that emerged from dead bite-sizers are the last fragments of who those children actually were. Blue, still trying to find their way back into the world. Which is why Walter reacts with such specific alarm when Winston nearly absorbs one. He knows what those orbs are, he has known for a long time, and while his own eyes glow, that same blue is a question the full game is going to have to answer. Submit, conform, consume, perform. Those 4 words are not just a slogan. They are a description of what these children became. They submit to whatever controls them. They conform to the form they were given. They consume. Chompy eats you, bite-sizers devour each other to grow larger and more powerful. They perform their function mechanically, endlessly. 4 decades after the asylum that made them closed its doors, the land is empty, the machines are broken, but the children it made are still here, still performing. Okay, now bear with me because here is where the theory goes somewhere I have not seen anywhere else go. Because the archivist is not in the entity dossiers. The archivist is in the character dossiers. Alongside Walter, alongside Winston, alongside Luke. Role unknown, report unknown, image no visual, data corrupted. The archivist is a person, a human being, someone inside or connected to Dark, who is so thoroughly hidden that the organisation cannot photograph them, determine their role, or produce a single piece of documented information about who they are. Think about what Dark stands for. Division for Anomalous Retrieval and Knowledge. Retrieval. The retrieval of things that have been taken. What was taken at Upward? Whatever the brainwashing machine processed out of those children on those film reels. Stored somewhere. Archived. The archivist is a person inside or connected to Dark who knows exactly what happened at Upward. Who knows what is on those film reels. Who's been making sure that the information stays buried. And who's been in the database the whole time, hidden in the character section. Where nobody thinks to look for the person running everything. Watching the investigation get closer and closer to the truth. The Fortune Dweller says in the name of the Master. Something is directing all of this. And the Master is not a supernatural entity. The Master is a person. A human being who built Upward. Who ran the program in 1985. Who has spent 40 years making sure nobody finds out what happened to those children. The archivist. No visual, no role, no record. Because someone deleted it. And our player character showing up at Upward has disrupted all of this. Walter classifies it as a tier 2 deceiver and tries to shoot it on sight. But throughout episode 2, the Doodledoomer is the one helping Winston. It writes him the chess code. It writes I am friend on the wall. And draws itself a little face. It leads him to safety. And at the very end of the episode, we see it running into Upward. Not as a threat, but to warn whoever is still inside. Now, here's what makes the Doodledoomer unlike anything else in this universe. The Doodledoomer is on the walls. It exists as a living 2D entity on surfaces. It writes on the walls, but it also is the writing. The drawings and the creature are the same thing. When it moves, it phases through surfaces, which is exactly why the dossier describes it as the only entity capable of shifting across dimensional planes. It is not travelling between dimensions, it's moving through the surfaces of the world itself. The walls are its dimension. And the single most important detail about the Doodledoomer is buried in its dossier like an afterthought. Unlike any other recorded entities that bleed purple, the Doodledoomer's blood is red. Every entity bleeds purple. The Doodledoomer bleeds red like a human being? Because the Doodledoomer is the only child from Upward who survived the brainwashing with enough of their original self intact to resist. Not fully, not cleanly, but enough. Enough to remember that what happened there was wrong. Enough to still be trying to help people after 40 years of being classified as a threat. And shot at by the organisation that should be protecting them. The dossier describes it as a very shy and easily scared. It flees immediately if discovered. That's not how a threat behaves. That's how a traumatised child behaves. In episode 2, there's a red inscription on the wall that makes the giant bite-sizer physically back away and retreat. The Doodledoomer was in that building before Winston and Walter arrived. It is that inscription. It put itself on the wall as a protective ward in the only form it has. And nobody has decoded what it says yet. I was going to put the screenshot in the description, but the developers have mentioned that this text is not to be encoded. So we just have to wait until Winston and Walter learn it. If they do. I think we owe it to the Doodledoomer for them to find it out, though. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Walter Rex is the last surviving member of the Dark Pals. Every single colleague he has ever had is dead. He joined in 2020, and in roughly 5 years, an entire organisation has been wiped out. Every single person. He alone remains. His arch nemesis. No dossier entry, never seen on screen, mentioned only once in his biography, is called the Bearfinder. The creature that made his childhood a living nightmare. A bear, a friend. Something that presents as warm and safe and comforting, exactly like an asylum, dressed up in colours, exactly like a cute dog mascot with a snake underneath. The Bearfinder follows the exact same pattern as everything else at Upward. Friendly face, monstrous tooth. I believe the Bearfinder is connected to Upward. And when we finally see its dossier entry, and it does not have one yet, not retracted, but it's just not there, I think it's going to be unlocking everything about Walter's past. Now look at Walter's actual behaviour throughout the show. He knocks Winston unconscious the first moment he gets the chance. He tries to shoot the Doodledoomer, the entity actively helping them, the one that's clearly not a threat. He reacts with immediate practice alarm when Winston nearly touches a soul orb, and then refuses to explain why. His eyes go blue in that hallway.
Hello?
The Fortune Dweller, impersonating Luke, tells Winston that Dark is evil. Yes, that is manipulation. Yes, the Fortune Dweller lies constantly. But the best manipulation is always built on a foundation of something real. My theory, Dark Pals was founded specifically in response to what happened at Upward. Its mission, retrieval, was originally about recovering what the asylum took from those children. But the archivist, a human being inside or adjacent to Dark Pals, has been controlling what gets found and what stays buried for a long time. The reason every other Dark Pals agent is dead is not only because the entities are dangerous, it is because someone with access to Dark Pals operations has been eliminating anyone who gets too close to the truth about 1985. Walter's the last one standing, and I do not think that is because he is the best agent they ever had. I think it's because the archivist still needs him for something. Here is everything laid out plainly. In 1985, a children's asylum called Upward operated in Sweet Lake Forest. It disguised itself as a carnival. Well, a colourful land. A pleasure ground with a diner, a garden, mascots and a fortune dweller's tent. To make the children feel safe before subjecting them to a brainwashing programme. The program broke them. What remained became the entities of Sweet Lake Forest. Their soul orbs blue, the colour of the original self, are the last fragments of who they were before Upward got to them. The player character of the game was a patient Upward as a child. Their memories of this place were taken by the program. They've come back now, decades later, armed with a living childhood toy named Inky that spent 40 years waiting for them in the ruins. The question this whole game is built on is 3 words. Do you remember? The Fortune Dweller is not guarding Upward. It is hunting the player character. It has been following them. The tent in the courtyard is not the Fortune Dweller at home. It is the Fortune Dweller waiting outside for the player to come back out. It took Luke because Luke was somehow connected to the player's return, and it has been using Luke's voice as a weapon. The Doodledoomer is the one child who escaped with their humanity intact. It bleeds red, it is on the walls, a 2D entity that exists as writing on surfaces. Phasing through the world itself, it's been trying to warn people for 40 years. The scythe on the wall in episode 2 is the Doodledoomer using some language we don't know, putting itself between danger the only way it knows how. The Archivist is not a monster. The Archivist is a person, a human being listed in the character dossiers. No visual, no role, no record, data corrupted, who built Upward, who ran the program in 1985, who has spent 40 years inside or connected to Dark Pals, making sure the truth never surfaces. The Fortune Dweller serves them, every dead Dark Pals agent is their work, and a snake stands in the garden where the Chompy statue used to be. Watching, waiting. The demo is just the surface. The full game is going to take us deeper into Upward than any of this. Past the brainwashing rooms, down into wherever the Archivist has been keeping everything. And when we get there, I think we are going to remember everything. Dark Pals is doing something that genuinely matters. The horror here is not the creature with the teeth. It is the institution. The thing that dresses itself as somewhere bright and safe and full of wonder. With a machine underneath designed to reach inside a child and take everything that makes them themselves. Submit, conform, consume, perform. That is not a brainwashing slogan playing on loop in an abandoned asylum. That is the whole story. If you want to follow the lore as it develops, darkpals.com updates their dossier database as the series progresses. I will be covering every new entry, especially the Bearfender, when that dossier drops. I think everything will change. And if we're told about the cipher, which the developers said we can't solve it, the creature has been trying to tell us something for 40 years, it deserves to be heard. Drop your theories in the comments, and until next time, do you remember?